Now to Florida, where one of the women who says that the convicted murderer, Wade Wilson, attacked her is now speaking out. Last week, a jury recommended to a judge that Wilson be sentenced to death after the same jury convicted him of murdering two women, Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz. Those women were found dead back in 2019 after being strangled by Wilson. This is all according to the prosecution. Scripps News' Kate Coral spoke with a woman who claims that she was attacked by Wilson shortly before these murders took place. Take a listen.
Convicted Cape Coral murderer Wade Wilson will soon find out if he will go to prison for life or be put to death. I'm Fox 4 senior reporter Caitlin Knapp, and I dug into his background after the state attorney made an interesting comment to me about Wilson. The comment led me to track down Wilson's ex-girlfriend, who believes the murders could have been avoided if Palm Beach County deputies arrested Wilson for her reported crime.
We've heard from many women who have been victimized by the defendant, but maybe didn't go forward on charges or for whatever reason didn't find justice in the justice system.
That's what sparked the story after weeks of covering Wilson's trial and death penalty recommendation. Kelly Matthews dated Wilson and was interviewed by our West Palm Beach station shortly after he was named a person of interest in October 2019.
He kidnapped me and almost killed me.
And most recently, Matthews has been vocal on TikTok.
I dated this man. I don't want to be quiet about this.
Quiet about what she claims Wilson did to her in Palm Beach County. Matthews met Wilson in 2018 online, calling him charismatic and polite. She said things changed when he started reportedly using drugs.
It was just like a very toxic relationship, but he was never violent, ever.
Until February 18th, 2019, she claims. Matthews says Wilson agreed to go to a rehab in the Keys, but Matthews said that wasn't true, and they got into an argument.
And so I got back in the car and put my seatbelt on, and that's when he started choking me.
She says Wilson then cut off her clothes and eventually put her in the back of her car. Matthews says he sexually assaulted her, tied and gagged her.
At some point, he had bit my face.
She says he drove them to the Keys and Wilson got out and left. Matthews says she drove home.
I should have stopped at like a gas station or something, but I think I thought no one would believe me.
She and her mom called police. Matthews says she went to the hospital where they did a sexual assault kit and took photos of her injuries. In a police report I obtained from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, it says they interviewed Wilson, who did not admit to any assault. The report says Matthews did have bruising on her neck and a cut to her lip, but they did not arrest Wilson.
He was like, no, this is hearsay. Like, you don't have any probable cause.
He, as in the detective who also put in the report, there are no witnesses to the alleged crime and no evidence to establish probable cause.
Do you feel like the system has failed you?
Absolutely.
I reached out to the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, asking why they did not arrest Wilson despite visible injuries.
I don't understand how someone can do something so severe to somebody else and not even get detained for it.
About 8 months later, Wilson was in Cape Coral and killed Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz. Matthews sees his conviction and death penalty recommendation as some sort of justice.
I feel like this is good for everyone that he's hurt.
Matthews says she wants to talk about what happened for her own sake and for other domestic violence cases.
I want people to know that they can leave, like get help.
As for Wilson, he's in jail, waiting to see if judge will agree to the jury's recommendation and sentence him to death.
We're a strong group of people that he didn't beat, and unfortunately it took two women dying for him to get noticed. You didn't win, and you're going to get what you deserve.
As of Monday evening, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office says that they are currently working on my request. Matthews says she wants to file a lawsuit against the Sheriff's Office for the outcome of her case. Again, Wilson will be sentenced on July 23rd, and I will be in that courtroom to bring you the decision. In studio, Caitlin Knapp, Fox 4.
Our thanks to Caitlin Knapp for that report. Such a difficult one. Let's bring back in Marie Pereira and Matthew Mangino. Matthew, something was missed here. Clearly, you never want to see a situation where someone may have been stopped before, but unfortunately, we've seen this before.
Well, yeah, I mean, every investigation is different. You're dealing with different police officers. You're dealing with different circumstances. It's hard, especially in a domestic violence situation at times, to distinguish exactly, what had occurred there. But certainly this case, screams out for some intervention by the police, whether or not there's some concern about exactly what the circumstances are. This is a vulnerable person who had obvious bruising, had a plausible story about how this occurred, felt threatened by the situation, and yet was left without any police intervention, was left without, any prosecution of her abuser. And, that certainly is a concern. And I'm sure that's something that's going to be reviewed to determine whether or not, policies, procedures need to be updated or need to be amended.
Absolutely, it should be. And Marie, we heard her say that she was told, oh, it's hearsay, there's no witnesses. This is a domestic violence case. I know that's a part of your specialty. One of your focus areas is these domestic violence cases and victim support. I mean, just the process of going through a sexual assault kit can re-victimize people when they go through it. But she did all the steps that we tell people to do when they are in this situation. What needs to change?
I agree with Matt that this is going to be reviewed and heads will have to roll, because at the end of the day, the woman was attacked. She was allegedly attacked by him. She didn't go to the police at the scene of that crime, but she went, when she got home, she went to the hospital. They did a rape kit. She outcried to her mother, and she knew him. It wasn't plausible that it wasn't him. So they just went to ask him, did you do this? And he said no. And because of that, they said there's no probable cause. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. It was a sexual assault. He kidnapped her. He took her against her will, and whether or not they knew each other shouldn't have anything to do with it. Whether or not there was a slight delay in the reporting shouldn't have anything to do with it. And I think I'm glad that this reporter brought this out, because whoever investigated this and failed to even bring it to the DA to look at the case, to file a complaint, to bring it to the grand jury, is probable cause, not beyond a reasonable doubt. There was enough there for them to bring this man, at least on the minimal level, to some accounting for what he did. Somebody's going to have to pay for what happened here.
The woman in this story, she was not involved in this trial, but there was another person who was part of the indictment. She was assaulted by the defendant. She was his ex-girlfriend as well. He approached her first in this spree that he did. Let's go and listen to Melissa Montanez on the stand during this trial.
When you arrived at Mila's spa, did you see your Hellcat?
No.
Did you see a different car?
Yes. I went to the driver's side window. He wrote it down. I said, where are my keys? Where's my car? He was calm and just saying, get in the car, get in the car. And it escalated quickly.
Did you agree to get in the car?
No.
And when you would not agree to get in the car, how did he act?
Violent, aggressive, tried to pull me in the car physically, and I resisted, got plank style so that he could not grab me into the vehicle. I'm trying to reason with him, trying to talk to him, but there's nobody behind those eyes anymore. I was trying anything that I could to expand the amount of time that I didn't have to go to his car where I'd probably never be seen again.
The next step in this case for Wade Wilson, that jury already recommended death. There will be what's called a Spencer hearing in Florida for the judge to listen to any final arguments and then make a final decision. Matthew, do you expect anything less than death, even though there are some questions about the death penalty and how it is handled in Florida, especially when this jury did have to be they did not have to be unanimous, is my understanding, even though the law hadn't changed when this crime occurred.
Well, right, Julia, Florida, frankly, their death penalty procedure is maybe the worst in the country. Number one, you only have to have 8 out of 12 jurors vote for death in order to have a recommendation of the death sentence. That's the lowest threshold anywhere in the country by far. Okay, they've had problems with the fact that they let judges decide factual issues in death penalty cases. The Supreme Court struck that down, and there's definitely a basis to challenge any death penalty, certainly one in which there's a 9-3 for the death penalty or a 10-2. This case is going to be reviewed by the Supreme Court, and one of these cases out of Florida might be the final case where the Supreme Court says you need to have unanimous jury verdicts for death. It doesn't exist right now, and Florida has the worst policy in the country.
Certainly under review by higher courts, and prosecutors are concerned about what the outcome will be.